When you sit down to play a song, you need to have a plan because you need an intro, and chances are you're gonna need an outro, and chances are you might even need like a little instrumental in the middle. So this lesson is all about giving you some really, really practical tips on how you can create an intro and an outro and all the things in between so that when you sit down to play a song, you really sound like you know what you're doing. I can't tell you how many times I've sat down to play a song in front of people, because this never happens when you play alone. But I've sat down to play in front of people or with somebody and I've gone, oh shoot, I actually don't know how I should start the song. So to save you the embarrassment that I have experienced myself so many times, let's take a look at how you can construct an intro. So one of the easiest ways to create an intro is to simply look at the first chords of the song. I usually go with the first 4 chords. So I've got 2 examples that we'll be working with here. We've got Let It Be by the Beatles, because everybody knows it, and The Scientist by Coldplay, because everybody knows it. So the first thing you could do is you could kind of hear the song in your head, and this is super important. You want to have a feel for the song before you start to play it so that your timing is on. So I actually kind of hear like, I tap my foot, I get a feel for it, and then I just play through the first 4 chords of the song. So for Let It Be, it would be like this. I've got A minor next, and I usually repeat that twice. And when I get to the final chord, I freeze. And then I can start. When I find myself in times of trouble. Works really well. Same thing for The Scientist. My first chords, this one actually cycles a bit differently. Instead of working in like a 3-chord grouping, we've got A minor, F, C, and then the C sus2. So I'm gonna hear it again. Come up to me, you. Okay, I'm tapping, I feel it. And I'm actually humming it in my head while I play these. And then you could repeat that, or you could just start singing. So that's one way you can construct an introduction. The other thing you can do is you can pick out the melody from the last line of a verse or the chorus, and that serves really, really well as an introduction. So for Let It Be, I would choose the last line of the chorus. So the chorus goes, whisper words of wisdom, let it be. So my intro, when I find myself in times of trouble, works awesome. It also works really well to take the last line of the chorus from The Scientist, and I feel like this will go with any song. So my final chord is G here. Oh, take me back to the start. So let me do that without singing, so it sounds like an intro. Right, and that propels me into the chord progression from earlier. So it's just a way to get a more complete sounding introduction, and then you can go to your singing or playing, etc. Okay, so there's some introductions. Now what happens when you get to like a musical interlude? I don't know if you've ever seen that on a chord chart where it just says interlude or instrumental, and you're like, what do I do? So let's use The Scientist for example for this one. So chances are you're gonna have some chords to work with. Let's say it says interlude. Oh, it does, right on our page. Instrumental. We've got a C, and then we've got an F, and then we've got a C, and another C. Okay, so that's kind of boring, and you might be feeling like, I feel kind of lame. I feel kind of like everybody's watching and I'm not doing anything cool. So what you can do is keep the rhythm going, use the chords, but get creative with the notes that belong to the chords, and maybe pull in some themes from the song's melody. So what I mean is this. I'm gonna roll with that C to the F. See how I've just picked like an inversion for the F, and I'm rocking on the outside. Playing with thirds here. Now I'm on an A minor. I'm just picking notes that belong to the chord. It's looking like it's starting to get a little bit like fancy and complicated, but look, A minor, I'm just breaking it up. I'm playing the top and the bottom. This is sounding really good. I'm using inversions. So I'm gonna repeat that, and this time going to like pull in flavors of that melody. So if the melody is come up to meet you, why don't I try playing that over top of the chords? So that would take some refining. You can play with that in your practices, but it just gives you an idea. Use the chords that belong to the instrumental section. Play with elements from the melody of the song if you can kind of find those, or just improvise on those chord notes, breaking them up into different patterns. It sounds really good. And then the final thing is the ending. And this part is short and sweet. Usually you can just kind of play through the chords of the chorus one more time. So let's say I'm ending, let's go back to Let It Be. Let's say I'm ending Let It Be. This is how I end basically everything. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. I just roll through that final chord. So slow down gradually so people know you're at the end. And then it's really that simple. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. So let's just explore what I did there. My final chords were F to C. So here's F and here's C. I rolled through these. This is my little sparkle fill that I like to use. Here's the F chord. I rolled through that sus2. It makes this cool little sound. And then I sort of, that works really well. It sounds like an ending. Da, 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 da. And then my final chord. Where I rest. Just roll through it. Then you can play that final chord note, octave. Boom. You have your ending. So there you go. There's some ideas on intros and outros and the things to do in the middle. I hope you found this helpful. You can download these chord charts if you want to give them a try on your own, and happy practicing.